Hello and welcome to For Heaven's Sake, a Seventh Heaven podcast. This is episode 1118 titled Inked, and we are your co-hosts, Lady J.
And T.
How are you, T?
I'm doing really well, and how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's nice to be here with you once again.
Ooh, it's so romantic.
With just a handful of episodes left.
I know.
In our pockets. I relish these moments with you more and more.
I know. It feels weird knowing that it's numbered. Mm-hmm. Like, really numbered.
Right?
Hopefully we do well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. If only the show was better.
Oh, God, if only. Why couldn't Seventh Heaven just be a little better?
I know. I mean, like, would it have killed Brenda Hampton to make a good show? Like, would it have killed her?
I know. Just try. I'm a bad human. Okay, let's go.
So, this episode, general thoughts? How do you feel about it?
Exactly that. That. Like, it's a setup. It's a setup to what's coming.
It's definitely a transitional moment. Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, we have 4 more episodes after this to go.
I mean, didn't you, I can't remember which episode this was, but remember when Kevin just gives Lucy shit like, oh yeah, imagine your own church. I wonder what that would be like. And then with her getting not phone calls or something, but there was another time that you and I did think, what if she does go for her own church?
Well,
right?
Well, yeah, because I think it was the last episode or the one before that when when we, the audience, learn that she has an offer.
Yeah.
Right. And she tells Annie about it. She doesn't know how to talk to her dad about it. And in this episode, we don't open with it, but, or do we? Yeah, we do. We open with them in this one horse town.
It looks like Big Bear.
It's literally a one building, all encompassing town, it seems. And if you can even call it a town, it's like a road stop, really. Yeah. Called Crossroads, which is, we are led to understand, the place that Lucy has gotten her offer, and they're here to, I guess, visit and get the lay of it and see, if it's a good fit or whatever.
Exactly.
I mean, right away, it's very, I'm getting, mind you, I've never even seen this show, but I'm getting major, like, Twin Peaks vibes from it. Like, it's almost like the guy who was going to come out of that and be like, she hasn't been alive for 100 years, like that's the vibe. I was like, oh my God, this is where we go to get murdered,
Yeah, that's true.
But I think they do that on purpose, right? They make it that way so that the audience is like, wait, what's happening here? What's going on?
And for you to be like, Lucy, what are you thinking? No, you belong at your dad's church. And then, of course, they're going to try to win you over.
Mind you, all Lucy can say is, so immediately, right, they get to where the GPS tells them they should be, and it doesn't look like anything. There certainly is no church. And so Lucy's like, we're in the wrong place. But then Kevin's like, no, we're in the right place. So they pull over and somebody comes out of the gas station or whatever. And he says how, yeah, no, you're in the right place. The church is here in the bar. Yeah. And Lucy's like, the church is in the bar? And Kevin's like starts asking questions like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Like, who are you? Where are you? Whatever. And all Lucy can say in this opening cold open is, the church is in the bar?
Yeah.
Like, you can tell she's uncomfortable. And or at the very least confused by what she's gotten herself into.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's not like she's taken the job yet.
No, but it's almost like she's definitely judgmental, like 100% judgmental. And it's taking over her actual, like, trying to experience what this place can maybe offer or not. Like, she's already, like, kind of set in her mind, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
At least that's the feeling you're getting when Kevin's like asking more questions and you don't know what side Kevin is on either.
Exactly. Although you can see immediately on his face, like, he's not as turned off by it as she is.
Yeah, because what? Topic of guns come up?
God damn it. I swear. Okay, I'm not going to get on my soapbox. There's only a handful of episodes left. I don't want to put my listeners through that. But long story short, they understand, they come to understand that, this is a town where there's only a handful of buildings, and there's only like, I think they say 27 people that live here.
27.
And, you know, something about like like everyone that comes here or lives here has to have a college degree or be going to school or something. There's all these like rules. It's starting to feel a little culty.
It kind of does.
Know? And then Lucy's just trying to be like, okay, like, and how does this church function? And like, what, you know? And then the guys, because it's these two men she's talking to, and they're just like, let's go to the gun range, Kevin. Like, whatever. They offer Kevin a job to be the sheriff of the town.
They don't have a sheriff.
They don't have a sheriff. And so they take him to the gun range, and it's like, oh, Lucy, my wife's going to be here to like make dinner or whatever soon. So like, why don't you hang out and talk to her, kind of a thing. So she's like, okay. So she's sitting there, and then the wife's there, like making the dinner or whatever, like behind the bar counter, you know. And Lucy's like, are you sure there's nothing I can do to help? Like, I'm here, you know, whatever. And she's like, no, you're fine. You know, it's all very like weird, you know. And then we meet up. She sees that same guy from before. Again, the guy who says
he's a doctor.
He's a doctor part-time. Yeah. He works at the gas station part-time because it's his dad's gas station and whatever. It's, again, very muddy. Like, it's not very clear.
We don't know where his actual residency and his part-time, it just doesn't make sense.
But also, like, the whole thing is just unclear in terms of, like, how does this Crossroads function? Like, what are the economics of Crossroads? Like, it's unclear on purpose, again, like by design, exactly why it is the way it is or whatever.
Yeah, it's odd because it's a bar, it's a church, it's also a school.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else that building offers, but I mean, you have 3 in 1. I think you're great.
Right. And so when that guy reappears, right, Lucy, like, they start talking again. And at this point, it feels like Lucy's kind of made up her mind that she's not
into it,
or at least she's like even more closed off to it than she was when they first got here, you know?
So when you say that everyone has to work and go to school, by has to, you mean?
Town ordinance. You have to work and be involved in some learning process, or you can't live here.
So I guess that's why there's so few people that live here. They just don't want to work and go to school.
Well, it's a growing community.
Why do I get the feeling that I'm missing a big piece of information?
I don't know. Did anyone tell you that this is a town where all the children are foster children and all the parents are foster parents?
No.
Yeah.
And their parents are?
In prison.
Boom.
Yeah.
Right away, I have a million questions.
Yeah.
One, this 2-man town, okay, this 1-horse town, as it were. How did they do the research and discover that there is a pastor out there who also is a foster parent?
Seriously.
Or, you know, has the certification to be one and has the like capacity and availability to come and be the pastor here?
I don't know.
Like, how do you, like, is there like a website, like a casting call, pastor call website?
Yes. Yeah, seriously. Cause it's like, who do you contact that's the head that can be like, hey, so I'm coming to the top of like basic,
like who's the HR of pastors
basically
that's like placing them in these perfect niches where they could fit, you know?
I don't know how that worked out.
Again, suspension of disbelief, whatever. Yes. But then we learn, you know, because one of Lucy's rebuttals or whatever is like, well, you know, like, it's 27 people. Like, who even comes to church here? Like, what's the point, kind of a thing, you know? And they're like, well, actually, several hundred people come to church here from all over neighboring places of all different kinds of faith, because there's not a lot of, like, churches around here, because a lot of places got shut down for lack of attendance or lack of funding or whatever. And so people actually do come here in droves every week. And actually, don't they say it's every day or something? Or not every day, I guess. But
no, I think every Sunday he says,
it's
like,
a weekly thing. Okay.
Yeah, and he definitely mentions how, like, there's this one guy that comes, like, from 4 hours over. Because it's
the best or only church of option available to him.
Insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is insane. And Lucy soon realizes, and what what ends up happening with her is like she goes from, no, this is ridiculous, this is not for me, what is this place, to no, it's too much of a challenge.
Yeah.
It's too much all at once that there's 500 people coming here once a week and putting all this pressure on me. Plus, I'm going to have to be a foster parent to have like 27 kids
exactly.
here. Plus, those 27 kids' actual parents are in prison.
Yeah.
Bad influence, blah, blah, blah. Plus, she's also thinking, you know, we want to have another kid. We want to raise our family here. Like, is this the best place for us? Whatever. And so she's now coming at it from that angle and like saying no to it.
Yeah.
But then you got Kevin over here who, after spending just a couple hours on the gun range with these fools, is like, I'm doing it. I'm in. I want to be a sheriff. I want us to move here. I want us to raise a family here.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
He's ready to move.
He's ready to move. And she's tripping.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how they leave it too. It's left very like open ended. Like,
there's no decision.
No, they don't make a decision. It's more just like they go home and they're gonna talk about it, obviously, and you know, weigh their options and stuff. But it was interesting to see I keep wanting to call her Ruthie. Yeah, to see Lucy grappling with that. Like you know, I think because she's no longer closed off to it as like, no, this is stupid. Now she's just actually thinking about the logistics and it's like, is she up to the challenge?
Yeah. Because that's a lot of kids to mentor.
Not that, and just a lot of people in your quote unquote congregation. Yeah. Too, you know, to be responsible for. Because I also imagine too, like the way that Eric does with his people. He goes and he visits them. Everyone's always looking to him for advice or, you know, whatever. And if she's going to do that to people that are not only the 27 kids that she's going to be a foster parent to, but then also people from 4 towns over or 4 hours over or whatever, like that's a lot for her. And she's trying to be she's trying to have another kid and everything. God, I can, you know, that's something. I don't know.
Sounds interesting though. I mean, it definitely sounds scary. I still don't understand how this place actually functions. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think it seems to function just simply on goodwill. Like, that's why they force the issue of like, you're going to go to school, you're going to work, right? Like, that's kind of how they get labor going on, right? Like, everyone has to have a job. And then clearly, because it's such a small town, I bet there's not a ton of like money in it. Yeah. I'm sure it's more just like, okay, we have like a big mess hall every night where I make dinner for everybody and everybody eats together. And then, we go to school together and we go to church together. And
it's truly the tiniest community. Yeah. Just super tiny.
And then the poor guys too, he's like, it's a growing community, which is a bleak statement. Seriously. Essentially pointing to the fact that more and more people are being imprisoned and leaving their children unparented or whatever the word is for that. But but maybe not wrong. I mean, you know, certainly from Ben Hampton's point of view, I guess the point she's trying to make, right? That like, these are people that need help too. And there is a community here for that, you know.
Rise up to the challenge, I guess.
I don't know. Interesting.
So, I mean, that's where we are with Lucy and
Pretty
Kevin.
much. Yeah. So while all this is going on for the King Kirks over in, you know, Crossroads, which is still unclear. Is that the name of the town or the name of the bar?
I think it's the name of the... Shouldn't it be the name of the town?
I guess it's the name of the town, but then everything is named after it. So it's like Crossroads Church, Crossroads Bar, Crossroads School, whatever. I suppose so.
Yeah.
So while that's going on at Crossroads, back in the snow globe,
yes,
Ruthie is dealing with the aftermath of the horrible tattoo decision she made.
Yeah.
And we learn that she and Annie were at the doctor's office where Ruthie was presented with her options for removal. And, you know, eventually, like, I guess over the course of several treatments or whatever, eventually it'll just turn white and then it'll have a small scar and then it'll go away and whatever. However, the problem is it's crazy fucking expensive.
And you know what's funny? No one's talking about how painful it is.
Well, yeah. Well, they didn't talk about how painful it was to get the tattoo either. So
True, but man,
I guess T-Bone did pass out though.
yeah. And from my understanding, anybody that like removes a tattoo, the removal process is the most painful.
I can't even imagine. Is it because they're burning the skin off, or how does that work? Do you know?
That I'm not sure. I don't know if they are burning it off. I think I would assume so, because there is.
Would you do it, right?
Yeah, there is scarring. You do have to patch it up.
Yeah,
you know, you can't leave it open because it's
a wound. Yeah.
So
that's weird
and
also awful. Like, it must be why people don't do it very often. Like, even if they regret their tattoo, they'd rather stick with it than go through the process of removing it.
Well, especially if it's on bones. If it like,
yeah, if it's not in like
imagine
a
if
fleshy
it's,
area.
Yeah, if it's on your like ribs or your elbows,
where there's not even a ton of skin to begin with.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
From what I hear, that must be painful because it's hitting your bone. Yeah. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love tattoos, but fuck no.
See, it's too much. It's too much pressure.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid thing. Like, if you think about it, like, what is, like, I mean, I don't want to say it's a stupid thing because I'm sure there's like tons of cultural and religious implications to tattoos and stuff. So whatever. I'm not making a judgment call on to getting a tattoo, but it's just like, it's such a life decision. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's like deciding to have a kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a forever responsibility. And even kids at 18, you're no longer responsible for them. You know what I mean?
True, yeah. If that shit is on your skin, it's stuck with you. You can't replace your skin.
Holy cow.
And if you are, it's a painful process.
Although, okay, when we do eventually become one, when the singularity is achieved and we're just a bunch of zeros and ones floating in a collective consciousness without our carbon-based beings, do you think that people will be more inclined to put on skins of like whatever they want? Like today I'll have a tattoo on my skin and then tomorrow I'll be purple, and
that's like Total Recall right there. And I like, a part of me doesn't hate that because that would be so much fun.
Like in the virtual reality of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if I want to have a tattoo today, I will, and tomorrow I can remove it.
Yes.
That's cool. That's a way to live, dude.
The movie Total Recall, I mean, it's a small thing of what they do, but there's this one girl, she's putting on nail polish, and it's like a, you know, like those pens that you see at the, what do you want to say? At the register.
Oh, yeah.
Like the credit card and then the pen. Literally, the girl is holding a pen to her fingertips and it's changing color on the spot.
Oh, that's cool.
Do you get what I mean? So like, imagine like being able to do that with your skin. Like, I can change a color,
like a Sims type program, right? Where you're in the Sims, and today you have purple hair, and tomorrow you have green hair, and who cares, right? Like that kind of an idea. I feel like that's what we can look forward to when the singularity is achieved, and we're no longer tied to these carbon life forms that die after 80 years if you're lucky or whatever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting spacesuit that you guys arrive in, I guess.
I mean, I guess it does beg the question, like, procreation, right? How does that happen when we're no longer carbon-based life forms? Like,
I don't know.
How do you get new humans in the universe?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how you would actually give energy out to create another being.
Right.
A light being.
What's the incubating process for that to be?
I don't know, but that sounds kind of fun to go into.
Although I suppose that you wouldn't really need that anymore, right? Like there would be no point in procreation anymore because procreation is simply to keep the species alive.
Yeah.
The species would be alive forever. So we could even potentially resurrect dead consciousnesses if we can store them after they die.
God, I hope we're picky in that time.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, let's not bring back Hitler, you know? Although I guess that would be out of the question because it would have to be consciousnesses that we stored with the technology that we haven't developed yet.
I can imagine someone, okay, let's bring all the bad people and let's see if we can change them.
And if we can't, then we just delete them.
Yeah. This never happened in our history. Just, pull it out. It's all good.
How did we get here?
We watched The Good Place one too many times.
Yep. So Anyway, so she's complaining about how much she wants to do it. And Annie's trying to tell her, like, no. I mean, she's not saying no, but she is saying, like, okay, you're going to have to pay for this yourself then, because your dad and I cannot do this for you. You made the decision to get this tattoo, and it's your responsibility to deal with it, to suffer the consequences, or to work hard to, you know, get it removed or whatever.
Exactly.
So she's like telling her how it is. And then, you know, Ruthie's just like pouting and moaning and meh, 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 meh. And then her dad walks in, and I was so grossed out.
Oh, Daddy, I'm so glad you're home. I went to the doctors today, and they said that they could remove the tattoo, but I don't have enough money to pay for it. So can you help me, Daddy, please? It was stupid. It was a really, really stupid thing to do. So can you, Daddy? Can you help me?
Sure I can, Princess.
Really?
I can help you get a job.
It's like, and then he says, your mom called me after you guys left the doctor's office. Like, he knows the game she's playing.
Yeah.
But that whole thing of like daddy is like, you've never in your life called Eric daddy.
Yeah.
Like, ew, Ruthie, ew. Her level of spoiledness in this opening scene alone is enough to make your skin crawl, and then she doubles down on it.
Yeah, she gets
the next day, dude.
She gets worse and worse throughout this episode.
It's oof. See, okay, she doesn't get worse and worse throughout the episode. She gets worse up to a point, which we'll get to, but then it's almost like it was way too easy after that.
I didn't like that.
It was way too easy.
Like, she got it real quick.
So, okay, so this whole thing goes down, right? Annie tells her no, Eric tells her no, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next day, because T-Bone inadvertently walked in when Annie were talking about it. And Annie made a comment like, you know, you save up, you can pay to get rid of T-Bone forever, you know?
Seriously.
She means the tattoo, but then he hears it said like that, right?
Yeah.
And so his brain is like reeling, and when the next morning she hasn't let it go, he comes downstairs and he's like, you know what? I want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because while I understand that it's not like I asked you to get this tattoo, for whatever, like I feel responsible because it's my name on your back and I'm the one in this relationship with you. So I want to pay for it.
Yeah.
And Ruthie's like, I think you should.
Yes.
Bitch, what? And Annie has to once again tell her like it is.
It was your tattoo. It was your idea. You alone decided to put his name in big letters across your back.
So?
So T-Bone is saving up his money for college. He needs every little bit of money that he makes. He pays for his clothes, his school supplies, and anything else that he needs. You really going to take money away from T-Bone?
So you use the money that Dad earns. It's the same thing.
Oh, your dad and I have been married for 30 years. We are a married couple, something that you and T-Bone are not. And we share everything. He works outside the home, I work inside the home. He makes the money, I manage the money, and I manage it with great respect for the hard work that goes into getting it. Not that I need to justify my staying home to you or anybody else.
You don't have to justify it. It's just that it's a promise ring. T-Bone has promised to marry me, and we're going to be married for 30 years, just like you and Dad. And although I do intend to work outside the home, we're still going to share our money. So why can't he share his money with me now?
Because, Ruthie, you guys are 12.
Yeah.
That's why. Like, she's...
Had they not... Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. Had they not been white, you know that mother would have backhanded her daughter. Sorry.
But no, what boggles my mind about this is like... And honestly, it's hard to believe that it's coming from Ruthie because, like, really? Is she that stupid at this age? And after knowing what we know about her and everything she's learned and gone through and whatever, is she that naive and that dumb about
and callous?
Relationships and any of that stuff? Like,
that's what this is one of my biggest issues with this episode is, one, good job, Ruthie. I couldn't stand you in this episode.
Yeah.
You're the worst human ever. But I also can't buy this shit because of what, like, Ruthie can be spoiled and say, back in Scotland, all she wants, because this I can believe coming out of her, acting like above it all.
Sure.
That immaturity I can believe.
Sure.
But this, like, nah, bitch.
Yeah, this
work. You know work in this family, and you know how everybody earns work in this family.
Not just that, though. The part that I'm struggling with is her naivete about this relationship she's in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, so he gave you a promise ring. Really? You really think that you're going to marry T-Bone tomorrow and you guys are going to be married for 30 years like Eric and Annie? Really?
Yeah.
Like, is that where you think your relationship is at, Ruthie? All 1 month of it that it's been?
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, she's so dumb. Like, I think it.
Yeah.
But see that, and then I struggle too, because I struggle with the idea that she is dumb. Like, I just think that she is so blinded by her dislike of this tattoo.
Yeah.
And her like her inability to see the light at the end of the tunnel to a point in her life where she can get it removed.
Yeah.
That she just wants to get rid of it now. Mm-hmm. That she's saying stupid shit like this.
Yeah.
And she's disrespecting her mother and being a brat and all this shit because she's so blinded by, I gotta get this fucking tattoo off my skin, you know?
And everyone asking her, well, what does it matter if you're going to end up with T-Bone?
I mean, listen, Annie makes a good point.
I mean, she makes a good point. But I also at the same time in my head, I was like, dude, have you seen that fucking tattoo? Of course anybody would get that shit removed.
Yeah. I mean, but it does beg the question, right?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
And
what does it really matter?
Not only do you want it removed, but you want the guy you're going to marry to pay to get it removed. Like, really? Like, that's where we're at now? Like, it's just, the whole thing is just bad form on her part, on Ruthie's part.
Yeah.
And so they have this whole fight. Annie goes upstairs.
Yeah.
And Eric's like, you know, they're talking. And Annie's like, I'm done talking to her. Like, I don't know what else to say to her.
Yeah.
To explain why we won't pay for this tattoo.
Yeah.
And so Eric's like, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to let this go on any longer. I got this. And I was like impressed by Eric in this moment. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was like here for everything that he was saying.
You are sometimes just incredibly selfish and irresponsible and disrespectful, and I'm not going to allow that. Is that understood? No, I don't think it is, so I'm going to explain it. I am not going to allow you to be disrespectful of your mother no matter how much you don't like living with that tattoo, because you know what? That's exactly what you're going to have to do, is live with that tattoo until you, and only you, pay to have it removed. I'm not letting you take any money from T-Bone, and you know what else? You're getting a job whether you want one or not, so start looking.
All right, I will. I promise. May I be excused?
Yes, you may be excused to go and apologize to your mother. Where do you get off implying that your mother takes the money that I earn? There isn't enough money in the world to pay your mother for what she does for all of us. And don't say in Scotland, because I am tired of in Scotland. It isn't any different in Scotland or anywhere else in the world. There is no culture that allows children to be disrespectful to their parents. You got it?
Yeah. I got it. Really. I mean it. I guess I just needed a reminder. I'll go apologize right now. And tomorrow I'll go out and look for a job. And if the best that I can find is at the Dairy Shack, then I'll work there. I promise.
Yeah, way too easy.
Way too easy. Mm-hmm. It turns around from just one talk from Eric.
Seriously.
I wish it would have gone on longer. I wish we would have seen this bratty streak grow in Ruthie and lead to something. Otherwise, there's no point to any of this.
Exactly. It's an unnecessary filler to her storyline. That's all it is. Yeah. Like, Ruthie didn't need a guy. Ruthie didn't need to like T-Bone. None of this needed to happen.
You're right.
You know, or it could have led to liking T-Bone later. Like, maybe now it could have started. Mm-hmm. Not right away.
The minute she gets home.
Seriously. Yeah. But whatever.
Here we are. So that's kind of Ruthie's journey, if you will, this episode.
Yeah.
But what it does for Eric is, you know, he has this conversation with her and he realizes that he feels good, speaking his mind.
Yeah.
And not being calm and collected for his heart, you know, and just
Yeah.
putting it all out there and like speaking his truth. You know?
Exactly.
And saying the things to people that he thinks they need to hear, you know?
Which we did see that like a couple episodes back, you know, when he died and we still don't know what happened to him.
Right. So he goes on this spree, if you will, of meeting up with not random people, but with people we know, and helping them or telling them like it is, right? Mm-hmm. So first thing he does is he meets up with Sandy in the promenade.
Yeah.
Sandy's at the promenade because she decided she's going to hang out at the promenade all night and wait for Martin because Martin was supposed to babysit Erin that day.
Yeah.
And lied to her and told her that he has a game and couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But then she learns that he has a date with Jane.
Basically.
And she doesn't care that he's dating Jane. It's the fact that he lied to get out of taking care of his child because what the fuck, dude, you know?
Exactly.
And so she waits around all night for him to show up so she can tell him how it is, you know? And while she's waiting, Eric, you know, happens upon her and they're talking about, you know, school, whatever.
How's school? How are you liking the change in your classes? You still want to be a minister?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you'd like to just go up to one person at a time and tell them what you think of them on an informal basis, kind of a hobby.
So I understand that joke.
Yeah.
Right? But isn't that what he's doing in this exact moment? Like,
oh, yeah.
He's calling her out on it, and yet you're the one who's giving her advice unprovoked.
Yeah.
You just walked up to her and started giving her advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, kettle? Yeah, it's the pot. You're black.
Yeah, dude. Seriously. He's... Well, you know, at least they can make fun of each other now, or make fun about this
on the same level, or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
So then next, he goes to visit Margaret and Mac because whole can of worms there. We need to get into.
Dun.
So Margaret is borrowing Eric's computer.
Yeah.
Because she says she's writing a book or a novel or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Eric's like, you're writing a book? Like, that sounds like something you would do in like an advanced literature class in college. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm just writing a book. It's cool.
Basically.
And we learn that she's essentially doing Mac's homework for him.
And since when was Mac advanced English?
Mind you, Mac, the same Mac who we saw being a total loser watching Jerry Springer in the middle of the morning instead of studying for a test. So she's decided to do this for him.
Yeah.
Because, and Jane picks up on it because she's got feelings for Mac.
Yeah.
Which came out of nowhere and literally just feels like Brenda Hampton going, okay, Jane and Martin, T-Bone and Ruthie, who else can we get together to get some sexual tension going on in here?
Mac and Margaret.
So random. Like, Mac was not interested in Margaret ever.
Yeah.
Margaret never liked Mac to begin with because he represented like playboy status of like just being into Jane and shit. And all of a sudden, she has feelings for him, so she's like bending over backwards doing his homework for him. And it's a damn good paper, too.
Yeah.
And he comes home, Mac comes home, and she's showing him the paper that she's written, and he doesn't quite think it works for him because it's like a romance novel.
Exactly.
And he's like, would I be writing a romance novel? And she's like, wouldn't you be? And then they start making out and getting all hot and heavy. And then Eric comes in like a cold cup of water, pouring all over them. And essentially, unprovoked, is like, hey, Margaret, you should go back to college, dude.
Yeah. I thought she was going back to...
I thought so too. I thought that was her whole thing, was like she was going to go to school and do the babysitting thing and do Dairy Shack and whatever.
Not only that though, but she also tells Eric, maybe I'm not smart enough. I was like, bitch, you actually mentioned on the bench saying like, I'm going to go back to the Camdens and I'm going to go to school because I'm actually pretty smart. Like she's...
You know your own ability.
Yeah.
If you know you're good enough to do Mac's homework, then you should know you're good enough to do it for yourself when you're in that class.
Yeah, but when she says all that, whatever how many episodes ago, I get it. But don't tell me that she really doesn't believe in her work ethic now.
It's not that she doesn't believe in her work ethic. She doesn't believe that she's qualified enough to go to college.
I know, but I really thought that she was already going to school because they made it such a point.
I know. It's the weirdest thing. Again, this is Brenda Hampton banking on the fact that no one is binge watching in 2007. There's no DVR or whatever. So you forget little details, right?
That's upsetting, though.
It is upsetting because it's like this was a major character point for Margaret. Like, why are we here? But so he says that to her. He's like, you should do this because I read your paper on my computer and it's really good.
Yeah.
And, you can do this. So she's like, you know what? You're right. I can and I will. Fuck you, Mac. Like, I'm going to school.
Seriously.
And so just like that, it's like, okay, so that was nothing. Cool. They made out for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Cool story.
Cool story.
And then we just get a little bit of a glimpse of Martin and Jane. He comes to the dairy shack after Sandy rips him a new one.
Yeah, God. Martin is trash.
He is such a loser.
He's trash.
He's such a loser. He tells her, because, okay, she's like, you lied, what the fuck, whatever. And he's like, I go to school, I play baseball, I take care of my son a lot. Like, don't I deserve a life too? And it's like, bitch, I have him full time.
Yeah.
I also go to school. I also have a job.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to say to me right now? And I also have a relationship that I'm trying to maintain and have as well.
Yeah.
So if you think you deserve fun, I deserve it too. And then he flips it on her and is like, aren't you seeing that doctor guy or whatever? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, then why aren't you more happy? It's like, it's not your job, Martin. To tell me if I am or am not happy or that I should or shouldn't be happy. Your job is to be a parent to this fucking kid and to pull your weight and to not let anything get in the way of that.
Yeah.
And you have proven time and time again to let shit get in the way of that. Mm-hmm. He's such a fucking loser.
Yeah.
I can't even handle him.
This is what Martin was written out to be, to turn into
so
this
disappointing
piece of shit.
He was such a good guy. And now he's just a loser. And then he goes over to Jane's little booth at the dairy shack and she's like, you're late. So I already got my break. So let's just make out here in the booth. And then they do. And it's like, ew.
And all I'm thinking is, Jane, if you actually saw the way that he behaved, you wouldn't have been into this. You wouldn't have been into this.
I hope not. I hope for Jane's sake that when and if she sees his true colors, she's not into it.
Yeah.
Because this is not good behavior for a man to exhibit. You know? Which I'm not trying to get into like the trap of gender norms and shit. I'm just saying for any person to exhibit.
It's just not a nice color on anybody. Like when you are being rude and you're trying to prove a point or whatever, but it's like your fucking ego is doing all the talking and you're being, and it's spiteful. That's what it is. It's just coming from a mean place. This isn't coming from a place where you're trying to make me realize maybe I'm not happy with someone. Like, this isn't coming from a loving place. This is coming from like, you're going to shove it in my face and whatever.
Yeah, no, you're right. He's saying what he says to her to be spiteful so that she can be like taken aback. You know what I mean? Like he's doing it for that shock value of like, then why aren't you more happy?
Yeah.
Like, bitch, I'm not happy right now because you're a loser and I have a child with a fucking loser.
Exactly.
That's why. This is not this was never about me. This is about you, Martin.
Yeah.
You know?
Ugh.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what exactly goes down with these two because it sucks that this is how it's going with them, but at the same time like I mean, how do you pull up this plane that's crashing into the ground? You know what I mean?
And how am I supposed to give a fuck about Martin? Seriously, though.
I know.
Why do I care about him?
He's barely there. When he is there, he's just wanting to get his dick wet with Jane.
Yeah, he's chasing Jane, finds out she's married or gonna get a divorce, freaks
Goes
the
after
fuck
her anyway.
Yeah, but also freaks the fuck out too.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff. Like, dude, you're just
and then seeing Jane like fall all over him or
Why?
fawn all over him. It's just like, yeah, why?
Why?
Like, you don't even know this guy. Like, what's the big deal, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's all just a weird thing. But that's kind of it.
Well, other than the fact that Eric does help T-Bone.
Oh, at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. At the very end, after Eric has done his rounds of helping people,
Seriously, truly his rounds.
he's back at home drinking a glass of milk, which why? Ew. You're a grown-ass man with a heart problem. And T-Bone comes in after his shift at work, and Eric sits him down and essentially tells him, like, listen, I want you to know that this relationship that you have, like, with us, like living here, us putting a roof over your head and food in your belly and everything, that is not conditional. That is not because you are with our daughter.
Yeah.
And if you are feeling like you have committed too far and too much with Ruthie, and it's not what you want, and you want to end it with her, just know that that is your prerogative, and you didn't do anything wrong, and you will not have done anything wrong if that's the case, and you will continue to be welcome here in this family with us, whatever. Like, we're not going to turn on you if you decide you don't want to be with Ruthie anymore.
Good on the Camdens.
Good on Eric.
Yeah.
Not the Camdens, but on Eric.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. And T-Bone even says, and he's like, yeah, but that's your daughter, dude. And he's like, yeah, but she makes her own choices here too. Like, and that's the thing I think that we lose sight of, unfortunately, in this episode, is like the agency that Ruthie has as well.
Yeah.
Because when Annie flips it on her, right, and says, like, if you're going to get married to him, why get the tattoo removed, right?
Yeah.
And you get that zoom in, fade out moment on Ruthie's face. It's like, you can see it on her face too. It's like she doesn't want to be with him forever. She knows it's not forever.
Yeah.
And so these are two people who are not necessarily like fully committed and in it to win it with each other for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And yet they're both scared. Ruthie, I think, because she doesn't want to let go of a relationship she's in. And T-Bone, because he's scared he's going to lose the roof over his head.
Yeah.
You know, like that they're going to kick him out if he's no longer with their daughter. And so Eric lets T-Bone off the hook and tells him it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I mean, he literally says everything's going to be okay in the end. But we never quite get that conversation with Ruthie that says, listen, just because he gave you a promise ring doesn't mean that you need to be in this forever. You know what I mean?
True, they didn't.
Which is disappointing.
Yeah.
But also not very shocking because it's Brenda Hampton and the show sucks.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that should have been a good way to do that. Like that having it seen from both sides of the coin, you know what I mean? Like, we see the T-Bone conversation, we see the Ruthie conversation, we, the audience, get the benefit of like realizing on our own, oh yeah, these two don't actually want to be together.
True.
So how are they going to navigate that happening or whatever, you know?
True.
So we'll see. I don't know.
I don't see anything happening with these two.
I don't think it's going to end happily ever after for them, which again, I'm fine with. Like,
She's 17 or 16.
I mean, yeah, because because I don't care.
Also,
I don't care enough about any of these characters anymore, and that's just the truth. Like, they've been so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, shape shifted and changed into something that they never were. Every single one of them,
that's true,
is no longer what or who they were. Not to mention the 15 new people they've introduced since the inception.
Yeah, man.
So it's like I don't care about. I don't have it in me to like be invested with these characters anymore. Least of all, the T-Bones, Max and not Max, but like the T-Bone, Margarets, and Janes of the world, where I literally just met them 10 episodes ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You know,
because we only have a few more left and we're stuck.
So that's the episode.
Yeah,
it's nothing really to write home about. it's like we said, it's all set up. It's all transitionary.
Yeah.
It's all just getting us into the last 4 episodes of the season or series. So, what do you rate it?
See, I'm really confused. Thumb up, thumb down.
Interesting.
Thumb up, thumb down. The conversations weren't bad. And they got reactions out of me, which was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe they went this far with this character, Ruthie. But, again, it's not about characters that I care for, right? I don't care about them, but they're still telling me a story, and it's all right. All right.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's a thumb up, thumb down. I really enjoyed seeing Eric yell at Ruthie and tell her how it is. I really enjoyed Sandy yell at Martin.
Oh, I know.
Telling him how it is. I liked Lucy be challenged. I like the idea of Lucy being challenged by the next phase of her life.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether or not she's going to be up to that challenge and accept it is a different story, I suppose. But I like that there's this opportunity / challenge in front of her. So, yeah, for those reasons, it's going to get 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down. Good stuff, man.
Good stuff.
Well, folks, as always, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. At this point, do we care? No, we care. But here's the thing. We're on Patreon. We're on patreon.com/4heavensakepod. You can subscribe there to get access to 2 bonus episodes a month of live commentary on movies that T has seen that I have not, with the exception of the last movie we did, which as of this recording anyway, was Frozen as a birthday treat to me, Lady J. You can listen to that. That's a fun one. So there's that. But more importantly, as you know, we are gearing up to end this puppy very soon.
Yeah.
And we only have a handful of recording sessions left. Now, there are several episodes before the end for you guys as listeners, but we will only be recording this show for 2 more weeks as of this point. So I'll put it this way. May 7th is the deadline to get your emails out to us, your questions, your comments, your thoughts, your insights, anything you ever wanted to know about us or the show, or things that you've wanted us to know about the show.
Or to talk about all of it, any of it.
May 7th is the last deadline.
Yeah.
The final deadline to send things in. It coincides with the release of, I believe, episode 1121, which is 3 episodes from the one that you're listening to right now.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of time left, but we want to hear from you guys. We want to have a final chance to connect with you guys. So send those in to forheavensakeshow@gmail.com. That's FORHEAVENSSAKESHOW@gmail.com. It'll all be in the liner notes, so you can find it.
Yeah.
And till next time, bye.
Bye.